this is my review of Sonic X. Okay, so this episode starts off with Chris trying and failing to explain to his parents exactly what he saw. He explains what exactly happened last night, but he doesn't explain everything. He points out that they wouldn't really fully understand that there would be a 3-foot hedgehog that just fell in his pool, so he tells them that he saved the cat. And also during this scene, we find out that his parents are actually never home, and he lives at home in his mansion with his grandparents and his butler. So yeah, he lives alone by himself, and Sonic is the first company he's had in a while. So, and also in the process, we find out that Sonic doesn't really remember how he learned to talk. It should be noted that Sonic never really got a canon origin story. The closest we get was one from the comics, but I'm not going to go over that now because it's really sad and depressing, and I don't feel like doing that for you guys right now. After clearing things up with his parents, Chris attempts to figure out what Sonic wants to eat, but after realizing that he based all of his food choices on real-world hedgehogs and not fictional anthropomorphic ones, Sonic realizes that Chris doesn't know how to feed him and leaves to go find some food. Then they come back and watch the news together, and it turns out that Sonic's whole escapade last night kind of went viral. So now everybody knows that Sonic is just out and about. So now they're realizing that maybe Sonic might be in a bit of trouble. He's easily going to get recognized now. Case in point, his grandfather Chuck actually walks in, and upon seeing Sonic, just puts 2 and 2 together and after a brief misunderstanding, realizes that Sonic isn't dangerous, and also decides to help him after finding out that Cream and Cheese have been abducted and put in a special lab on a secret military base called Area 99. So Sonic initially tries to go and get there and help them out by himself, but upon realizing that he both A, doesn't know where they are, and B, doesn't really have a way to navigate through the base without getting caught, realizes he has to work with Chuck to help him get through the base. And sure enough, Chuck gives him a special infrared visor so that he can see where all the security lasers in the security system are, so that he can easily sneak through. And once he's inside, he's pretty easily able to sneak past all the security cameras, which I should mention are fitted with lasers, but that doesn't become important until the second half of the episode. And meanwhile, the scientists are doing running tests on Cream and Cheese to figure out what exactly they are, and they're not having much luck. But as Sonic gets close to the lab where Cream and Cheese are being held, he realizes he doesn't really know how to get in and doesn't really have a way to get in, and realizes that he's not going to be able to just slip past the security system because he'll be caught because he has to now escort Cream and Cheese through the building. However, the problem solves itself when the security system suddenly goes offline when the power goes out. And it is explained that it's actually these little paper airplane things that just embedded themselves in the wiring, and it's unknown where they come from, but they do come up again. So it's clearly an important plot point. So Cream and Cheese and Sonic reconcile briefly, although they do alert the guards to their location and they run out of the office. At which point, and eventually the power does come back on, as the technicians downstairs eventually figure out what the cause of the power outage was and fix it. And case in point, they get caught by the security system, but Sonic uses one of the cameras to disable all the other cameras using the laser on top, so that they can actually get through safety. But then the steel doors start coming down. They're able to slip through the steel doors, but then they wind up in another corridor of cameras that they can't sneak past this time, because they've already been caught and the lasers are already trained on them. But then the little paper airplane things come flying in again and start causing the cameras to go haywire, and Sonic, Cream, and Cheese take the opportunity to get through the rest of the hallway into the stairwell. But due to the malfunctioning cameras, the stairwell is mostly destroyed by the time they get there, and they have to jump up the rest of the way. At which point they jump through the ceiling on the top of the stairwell, and it turns out that Tails was actually the one who saved them, and that he actually controlled all the little paper airplane things from his plane, and the three board the plane and go back to Chris's house. So at which point, Tails, Cream, and Cheese all introduce themselves to Chris and Chuck, and Chuck wonders where exactly it is they came from and how they developed this technology. And while Tails is able to explain that it's really not that complex from where they came from, he also fails to explain where exactly they are from, as he's not entirely sure himself. And meanwhile, Sonic gets yelled at for almost getting caught and treating it like a game, which he kind of has a tendency to do. So I'm not entirely surprised there. But case in point, he gets yelled at for trying to hotshot his way through the entire security system. He succeeded and didn't get caught, but still, he had to at the very least be a little more careful. However, eventually Sonic and Tails put two and two together and start realizing that if the three of them all got transported with Cheese, then it's very likely that some of the other people from their world got transported as well. And eventually realized that would mean that Dr. Eggman is somewhere on this new place that they found themselves in. And sure enough, Dr. Eggman has in fact built himself a base and is planning to take over the world again. So there we go. So yeah, Dr. Eggman is in fact on Earth. He is in fact plotting to take over. And they realize that they need to find out where his base is and stop him before he can do that. But yeah, now Dr. Eggman is in full gear to actually try and take over the world again, as he's wanting to do because he's Dr. Eggman. But yeah, this episode just establishes that yes, other people did in fact get transported to this world. They did in fact get transported from their world to Earth, and they are in fact going to be seeing more characters coming forward, all of which are going to have to work together to take down Dr. Eggman, because Dr. Eggman's the bad guy, and we all know what Dr. Eggman is capable of at this point. At this point in the series, I'm not entirely sure when this series came out, but based on the games, he's so far blown up the planets, tried to blown up the half of the moon. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. He's crazy. So yeah, he's going to have to be dealt with swiftly, or he'll take over the world again and destroy it, probably, because he's Dr. Eggman. But yeah, this episode just establishes that other people have been transported from Mobius to Earth, and that we are eventually going to be seeing more characters crop up from Sonic's universe, which we expected. And also they're going to have to deal with Dr. Eggman, who isn't exactly from Earth, but he is going to have to, but they are going to have to deal with him because he is in fact incredibly dangerous. So if you guys did enjoy this episode of Sonic X and my review of it, what did you guys think? Let's get the discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below, because I post channel updates as well as stuff I like over there. So be sure to check those out in the description below. And also, if you want to help support the show, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below. Again, it's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out and help support me, and I will help support you guys in turn. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!